Hi, my name is Sarah Presto, and I am with Redstone Federal Credit Union, and today I'll be reading The Wizard of Oz. Dorothy Gale lived with her Aunt Em and Uncle Henry on a farm in Kansas. There, she passed the time playing with her dog Toto and talking with the friendly farmer helpers. Dorothy had no idea that her life was about to take an amazing turn. One day, a mean neighbor, Miss Gulch, claimed Toto had attacked her and ordered he be sent away. Dorothy was upset by this, so she picked up Toto and left her home. Soon after, a terrible storm began to blow. Dorothy tried to get to safety, but it was no use. She, Toto, and the family farmhouse got swept up away in a great tornado. "Toto," said Dorothy once the house finally landed, "I have a feeling we're not in Kansas anymore." Instead, she was in the land of Oz, surrounded by people called the Munchkins. A pink bubble approached, bringing with it Glinda the Good Witch. Glinda told Dorothy that the Munchkins were celebrating because Dorothy's house had landed on the Wicked Witch of the East. She would bully the Munchkins no more. The celebration was cut short when the Wicked Witch of the West arrived. "You killed my sister," she shouted at Dorothy. At that moment, Glinda magically placed the Wicked Witch of the East ruby slippers into Dorothy's feet for safekeeping. "Give me back my slippers," shouted the angry Wicked Witch of the West, but Glinda told Dorothy she must never take off the ruby slippers. "I'll get you, my pretty, and your little dog too," the witch vowed, vanishing into a cloud of red smoke and flames. With the Wicked Witch of the West watching Dorothy's every move, Dorothy was eager to get home, but how? "All you have to do is follow the Yellow Brick Road," Glinda said before floating off again. The Yellow Brick Road wound its way through the land of Oz to the Emerald City. There, Dorothy would find the Wizard of Oz, whose magic could surely help her get back to Kansas. "You're off to see the Wizard of Oz," chanted the Munchkins as Dorothy and Toto started on their way down the road toward the Emerald City. As they went, Dorothy and Toto met a scarecrow, helped him down from his post. The scarecrow was sad because he couldn't scare away the pesky crows. "If only I had a brain," he told Dorothy. "You could ask the wizard for a brain," said Dorothy. The scarecrow grew excited and agreed to join them on their journey to meet the Wizard of Oz. Now Dorothy and Toto had a new friend to travel with. Farther down the road, Dorothy and the scarecrow entered a forest there. They met a man made of tin who was rusted solid, all except his mouth. He asked Dorothy to get his oil can. After his joints were oiled, the Tin Man came to life. He too was sad. He didn't know what love felt like. "If only I had a heart," he sighed. The Scarecrow and Dorothy invited him to join them to ask the Wizard of Oz for a heart. The Tin Man was more than happy to come along, linking arms together. The three new friends skipped off down the Yellow Brick Road with Toto in tow. As they traveled deeper into the woods, Dorothy, the Scarecrow, and the Tin Man all started to feel scared. "I hope we don't see any lions, tigers, or bears," they repeated until they ran into someone new, a lion. The lion tried to fierce and frighten the group, including Toto, but Dorothy smacked him on the nose and the cowardly lion started to cry. "If only I had some courage," he said between sobs. The three friends felt badly and asked him to join them to visit the Emerald City so he could ask the Wizard of Oz for some courage. The cowardly lion thanked them and agreed to come along. As the friends traveled down the Yellow Brick Road, the Wicked Witch of the West continued to warn and taunt them. She desperately wanted those ruby slippers. The witch even cast a spell to make Dorothy and the cowardly lion fall asleep in a poppy field right outside the gates of the Emerald City. But with Glinda's help, the spell was broken by a gentle snowfall, and Dorothy and her friends finally arrived at the glimmering green city. "We want to see the wizard," said Dorothy and her friends to a guard at the gate. He would not let them in. That is until they revealed the ruby slippers on Dorothy's feet. "Well, bust my buttons," the guard said with a change of heart. He opened the gates and the friends entered the magical city. There they were treated like royalty. Finally, with a lot of singing and pampering, they were allowed to meet the great and powerful Oz. The Wizard of Oz terrified them but agreed to grant their heart's desires if they would bring him the broomstick of the Wicked Witch of the West. The friends were scared but determined, so off they ventured in search of the broom. But danger struck. The Wicked Witch of the West kidnapped Dorothy. Luckily, Toto managed to escape and run back into the forest to find help. "Run, Toto, run!" called Dorothy, and the witch locked her up in a tower in a giant hourglass that counted the moments until Dorothy's end. The Scarecrow, the Tin Man, and the Cowardly Lion faced their fears, using brains, heart, and courage to rescue their friend. Disguising themselves as guards, they snuck into this tower to save Dorothy. Before they could escape, the Wicked Witch of the West cornered their friends with the guards. She was eager to get the ruby slippers at any cost, and using her broomstick as a match, she lit the Scarecrow on fire. Quickly, Dorothy threw a bucket of water at her friend, but it also splashed all over the Wicked Witch of the West. "I'm melting! I'm melting!" cried the witch. The witch finally gone, the broomstick was theirs at last. Back at the Wizard of Oz's castle, they presented the broomstick. "Go away and come back tomorrow," boomed the Wizard of Oz, breaking his promise to help. As the friends turned to leave, Toto pulled a curtain aside to reveal a small man operating buttons and levers. "Pay no attention to the man behind the curtain," said the man. "The great Oz has spoken." Sadly, the Wizard of Oz was a phony. He did not have the power to grant them any wishes at all. But the Wizard of Oz did show them that they each already had what their hearts desired: brains, heart, and courage. The journey through the land of Oz made that clear. "How will I get home?" asked Dorothy. The Wizard of Oz invited her to join him to his hot air balloon, which was destined for Kansas. Dorothy and the Wizard of Oz were set to fly off the balloon, but Toto jumped out to chase a cat. Dorothy went after her dog, and suddenly the balloon took flight. The Wizard of Oz was gone. "Oh, now I'll never get home," said Dorothy as she burst into tears. Suddenly, Glinda, the Good Witch, appeared again in her pink bubble. "You don't need to be helped any longer," said Glinda. "You've always had the power to go back to Kansas." "I have?" asked Dorothy. Glinda took her that by tapping her ruby slippers and realizing she did not have to look much farther than home to find her heart's true desire, she'd be able to return to Kansas. As Dorothy closed her eyes and tapped her shoes 3 times, she repeated, "There's no place like home." Then magically she got her wish. She returned home to the little farmhouse where she awoke in bed with Auntie Em and her Uncle Henry and all her farmhand friends beside her, so happy that she was okay. Though Dorothy's trip had been magical and mysterious, she learned that she had held the power to get home inside of her the whole time. Dorothy also learned that there really is no place like home. I hope you have a sweet dreams and good night.